Two men with guns jumped a woman.
She's being robbed and carjacked.
It's a frightening scene.
They robbed the people here, they have guns.
But this brave young woman isn't having it.
She is fighting them tooth and nail.
And this situation just keeps escalating.
My heart just dropped. I said, my kid is going to be killed.
Then, coming up, a man tries to seduce a young girl.
He was coming here and going to that tent.
So her dad takes matters into his own hands.
It looked like he had just seen a ghost.
But is it the right decision?
When emotion takes over, it can get very dangerous.
It's terrifying to watch.
You see the men punching the woman as they try to get her keys.
May 7th, 2016, 9:30 p.m. The west side of Atlanta. A woman pulls up to a gas station located just off I-20 on East Hamilton Homes Drive. She goes into the convenience store unaware that trouble is following her, and the cameras are rolling. On her way out, the woman does a quick good deed.
She gives a homeless man who's outside the door of the convenience store some money.
Little does she know what awaits her around the corner.
She's approached by these two guys. They are armed, and they are demanding her car. They're robbing her. She's being robbed and carjacked.
An attempted robbery is underway. From inside, the terrified gas station attendant dials 911, unsure how many attackers there are.
So 3-4 guys that robbed the people here, they have guns.
Outnumbered and unarmed, the woman faces her attackers as they steal her keys. But they don't know who they're dealing with.
She's not having it. She's not having any of it. And she is fighting them tooth and nail.
20 miles away in Marietta, Georgia, Billy Warren will soon catch the whole terrifying scene on his television.
My wife and I were getting ready to go to bed. And so the news comes on, it says, breaking news in Atlanta.
Two men with guns jumped a woman.
That woman is his 24-year-old daughter, Jasmine, his only child, and she is in a fight for her life. Billy watches the video in horror.
So many emotions run through your body so quickly that you say to yourself, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening.
So she was literally on her own and did quite well, by the way.
She's a tomboy. She loves weightlifting. She spends a good portion of her time running and in the gym, and she just goes for it.
Jasmine opens the driver's side car door and pulls one of the men out of her car. And things don't stop there. When the other man tries to rescue his accomplice, she goes after the gunman again.
This could have gone really, really wrong for her. These guys were armed with a gun. Why would you do that? You know, why would you put up such a fight over a car? You know, a car could be replaced, you know, but you cannot.
But then, events take an even more dangerous turn.
When he hit her with the gun, she said, okay, it's time for me to shift into a second gear. And then she begins to explode on him, and the other guy comes around to try to pull her off him. Then I'm saying, she's taking a stance. She knows what she's doing. She's made a decision.
Still, Jasmine's dad holds his breath in fear as he watches what happens next. Jasmine goes after the gunman again, but it's a very dangerous decision. The gunman and his accomplice try to drive away, but she still refuses to let them take her car.
So she's fighting with these guys, and then the ignition key breaks off in the car, and they can no longer even take the car at this point.
In the midst of the chaos, a car has pulled up behind and seems to pause to watch the unfolding drama. Who's inside? Are they a part of this too? Or are they just too scared to get involved?
We've seen some other videos where Good Samaritans will jump in, but generally that is not the case. Their fear of being injured or maybe even killed, you know, prevents them from going that extra step to try to help out the person who's being, you know, assaulted right in front of them.
And now, Jasmine's attackers have become even more hostile and aggressive. punching her forcefully. Neither the store clerk or the homeless man Jasmine gave money to minutes earlier are anywhere to be seen.
None of these people chose to intervene to help this young lady out.
Incredibly, Jasmine comes at the gunman a fourth time. They struggle with the handgun, and as the car behind them pulls away, she finally decides to run. Her dad is in shock.
After I saw the gun, I said I could be in a situation where I'm putting my daughter in a casket, and no parent wants to bury their child.
And for Jasmine, it looks like there's no escape. She desperately tries to get inside the gas station, only to find that the door is locked.
My heart just dropped. I said, my kid is going to be killed.
At 9:30 p.m. on the night of May 7th, 2016, a 24-year-old woman is attacked by two men attempting to steal her car.
So 3-4 guys, they robbed the people here, they have gun.
No one's coming to help her. She is on her own against these two.
But the would-be carjackers didn't realize who they were up against, and Jasmine Warren wasn't about to go down without a fight.
It was Cinco de Mayo weekend, and a lot of my friends, they were coming back from college, so we were gonna go out.
Jasmine had stopped to buy some Tylenol on her way to a club in downtown Atlanta.
I walked out of the store, and I didn't see them. They, of course, saw me, and the one guy had the gun, and it just right then, like, hit me, like, oh my God, there's a gun in my face.
What should have been a fun night out has become a potentially deadly situation.
He just kept telling me to give me the keys, give me the keys. So I gave him the keys. But as soon as they got in the car and I'm looking at this whole entire thing happen in front of me, it dawned on me, like, I really don't want this to happen. It was like, no, you're not about to do this today, no.
Jasmine makes a quick, calculated assessment of her attackers and decides she can take a risk.
When I saw the movements, I was like, oh, these guys are amateurs. They don't know what they're doing.
That's when Jasmine, who worked as a youth counselor for the city of Atlanta, jumps into action.
They were kids and they were scared. I became like G.I. Jane in 2 minutes.
Still, Jasmine knows she's no match for a loaded firearm.
Yeah, he said to me, I'm gonna shoot you, I'm gonna shoot you. That last time when he cocked the gun, that was the moment where it hit me like, oh no. I didn't know what his intentions was, so I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna run.
She makes a break for the convenience store door, but to her dismay, the door is locked.
The guy wasn't even trying to open the door. Like, at first I was having to yank it. He didn't want to open it. I'm like, open the door.
For a terrifying moment, Jasmine isn't sure what will happen next. But then, the gas station attendant, who knows police are on the way, finally relents.
Literally, he opened the door. I went in for 2 seconds and came back out because a police officer had pulled up.
To Jasmine's relief, the would-be carjackers have fled the scene, and she is finally safe. And that's when the gravity of it all really sinks in.
I was like, oh my God, I could have died. Oh my God, why did I do that? Like, the actual realization, like, this really just happened. Like, I really just did all of this within this moment of these kids about to take my car.
The first person Jasmine talks to is her father, Billy.
I rushed to the phone. I call her. I'm like, Jay, where are you? Are you okay? And she says, Dad, I'm fine. I had a couple of guys that tried to take my car. And so I get up, I get dressed, and I drove to Atlanta. So it took me about 20 minutes to get to her.
For Billy, the most chilling part is how frighteningly close he came to losing his daughter.
I says, Jasmine, I need to understand something. You were faced with someone who had a gun in your face. Sweetie, what were you thinking fighting these guys?
And brave as her actions were, Jasmine knows she took a huge risk.
You guys, please do not do this. I could be 6 feet under, or I could be crippled, or I could be blind. I could be a lot of things right now, depending on if I would have got shot. I would definitely never do that again.
If these were more hardened criminals, seasoned criminals, so to speak, then it's possible that this could have gone even worse than what it was.
For Billy, it's too much to even think about, and his emotions are all over the place.
Yeah, I was proud that she reacted, I was not proud that she continued to scuffle, but then I guess I'm partially at blame because I've always taught her to stand up for what she thinks is right.
Police launch an intense search for Jasmine's attackers, but never find them. And surprisingly, years later, Jasmine says she isn't angry with them.
I was a youth counselor for the city of Atlanta, for the Atlanta Workforce Development Agency, so it helped me understand what other people have endured or deal with. I did forgive them.
And coming up, another dad witnesses potential harm to his daughter, so he sets up a sting operation to protect her.
I had to do what was right for my kid.
Thursday, June 22nd, 2017. Del City, Oklahoma, 12:52 a.m. A man in a baseball hat strolls into a backyard and unzips the door to a tent. What is he doing here?
It all looks pretty innocent at first. I mean, maybe it's just a dad checking on his kids, camping out at night. It looks totally normal and calm at first.
But it quickly becomes obvious to the homeowners that there is nothing innocent about this.
So this guy doesn't belong here. He doesn't live here.
It turns out that this is a 33-year-old man who has been communicating by text with the 15-year-old girl who lives in the home.
She told him that she was gonna be camping in her backyard that Friday and that he should come over.
Whatever the teen thinks is going to happen, the man has come here for only one very disturbing reason.
He came over to have sex in our backyard, a 15-year-old girl. It's just wrong. I mean, it's wrong.
It's all really sickening. And what this man doesn't know is that he's in for a big surprise. The dad has gotten wind of his plan, and he's decided to do something about it.
My dad was extremely irate, as he should be. I have two daughters that age, and I would feel the same way as he did. He was very, very upset.
The dad is so upset, he arranges an elaborate family sting operation.
The father puts together an ad hoc posse of individuals who are going to deal with this guy.
They had it all set up, and he didn't have a chance.
As the man leans down to unzip the tent, expecting to find the teen, he has no idea that her mom is the one waiting inside. And he never sees her dad and two other family members as they sneak up behind and tackle him.
He didn't see them, and they took him to the ground.
But now, what's going to happen? They don't know anything about this guy.
You got to think, if the suspect would have had a firearm, you just never know with people like that. You don't know what they're bringing to the table. You don't know what they have on them.
And with emotions running so high, what is the family going to do with him next?
One of the reasons why vigilantism can get pretty dangerous is you're dealing with the unknown. You're not a trained professional. Somebody can get very seriously hurt or killed. When emotion takes over and that desire to intervene and exact perhaps even a little bit of revenge, it can get very dangerous.
Especially when they find out the shocking truth about just who this guy really is. When a 33-year-old man who's been sending sexually inappropriate texts to a 15-year-old girl shows up at her home for what he thinks is going to be a rendezvous, he's stunned when he's greeted by her dad instead.
His eyes were so wide that they looked like saucers. He just kind of went sheet white. It looked like he had just seen a ghost.
The ordeal begins when Fred Morano notices his daughter huddled secretly in a corner with her phone and has a gut instinct that something isn't right.
I'm a pretty protective dad. So I walk over, she didn't know I was there, and snagged her phone out of her hand. Very first thing I saw was, send me a picture. My blood started boiling. There was a lot of very lewd comments that you don't make to a 15-year-old girl.
And it gets worse. He quickly learns the lewd texter is almost 20 years older than his teenager.
I researched him through Facebook. My heart sunk. I can't comprehend. I mean, I'm 40, you know, to even look at a child. I was disgusted, and it just can't happen. Not in my house.
Fred also learns that the man has been communicating with his daughter on social media for almost a month. She knows how old he is, but they have exchanged suggestive photographs. And now, he has convinced the teen to meet him in her backyard tent.
I asked her why. I said, why would you do this? She would never really give me a straight answer. She had a lot going on in her life. I didn't get my daughter until she was 11 years old. I didn't even know she existed until she was 9. So at that point in time, she still hadn't really come into her own. So she was kind of looking for that outreach.
Concerned for his daughter and furious, Fred goes straight to the police.
Said, well, you know, you can read these text messages. They're planning to meet in my backyard tonight. You done? He's like, nothing can be done until he comes on your property. So we have cameras in our living room, we have cameras in our front porch, we have cameras in our driveway, cameras in our backyard. As a father, I had to do what was right. I wanted to make sure that this didn't happen to anybody else.
So that night, with his daughter hiding safely upstairs in her bedroom, Fred uses her phone to text the man, as if everything is still a go.
He texted close to the time that he was going to come over, and we did respond with, I'm waiting.
Fred corrals family members to help. One keeps watch out front, and the rest are hiding in the backyard.
We were stacked up by the back door. It was me, my nephew, and my cousin. My wife was in the tent with a baseball bat. You don't know what you're getting into. I was scared out of my mind.
Then, at 12:52 a.m., it's on. Oblivious to the cameras and what he's walking into, the man strolls into the yard and casually leans down to open the door of the tent. That's when they pounce.
So as soon as he hit that tent, he was down. He didn't have time to even think. We tackled him to the ground. We took zip ties and tied his feet together, and then we took zip ties and tied his hands together. You've stepped into the wrong backyard with the wrong set of people.
With the man restrained, the family calls police, who arrive within minutes and take the suspect, 33-year-old Jeremy Wilson, into custody. That's when the potential danger of the situation really sinks in. At one point, they even thought Wilson might have a gun.
Yeah, I was watching his hands. He's reaching. Wait, is he reaching? Nope. Okay, he's not reaching. It was a big sigh of relief once they had him on the ground. And at that point in time, it was just...
They protected their daughter, and they were lucky.
I don't even know how I would respond in a situation like that if it was my daughter. I can't blame them. I would probably do the same thing.
As the video of Wilson's shocking family-style takedown makes worldwide news,
Father creating an elaborate sting. He was coming here and going to that tent
to catch a child predator.
Fred's actions are widely applauded.
Police say they don't condone vigilante justice, but say they're not filing any charges against the girl's family.
Before police take Wilson away in handcuffs, Fred grills him about why he dared to walk into his backyard in the first place.
A lot of it was just, I'm sorry. I was just here to talk to her, that he was there to help her. I didn't pay any attention to it. He was there to have sex with my daughter.
And when police interrogate Wilson and go through the texts he sent the 15-year-old girl, they are certain that he only came for one thing.
When he got there and he was in custody, he had a condom in his pocket. During their messages, he told her he would have to wear a condom. He asked her for pictures, naked pictures. He sent one of his genitals to her.
But this story has an even more disturbing twist. It turns out Wilson reached out to the girl on Facebook because he wanted to reconnect. Many years earlier, he'd been a friend of her mother's.
Jeremy used to change my daughter's diapers when she was a baby. He'd babysit her, take care of her.
This is just being a predator on a whole new level. You changed her diapers as a baby. You're almost 20 years older than her, and now you want to have sex with her? As a mother, this just makes my blood boil.
What makes a person do that?
Wilson never offers an answer, and as far as police can tell, has no remorse.
I think the only regret he had was that he got caught.
Wilson is charged with unlawful communication using technology and is sentenced to 10 years behind bars. but is now out on probation. As for Fred Morano, who had a stern talk with his 15-year-old following the incident, he says he would definitely do it all over again.
Talk to your kids. If they're silent for a reason. So talk to them. This is about protecting your kids. You've got to do what it takes to take care of your family.